Do you ever assume your parrot is fine in the heat because, well, parrots come from warm places anyway? You open the curtains so they get some sun, point a fan their way to cool the room, and figure as long as you're comfortable, they must be too. It feels like common sense, right? But what if some of these everyday habits are actually putting your bird at risk? Every summer, pet parrots quietly slip into dehydration, overheating, and stress, all from habits their owners repeat without a second thought. And the truth is, you're probably doing at least one of them right now. 1. You're keeping the cage near a sunny window. Do you like giving your parrot a spot by the window so they can watch the world outside and soak up some natural light? It feels like you're giving them something good, a little piece of the outdoors. Here's what most owners don't realize. Glass doesn't just let light through, it traps heat. A spot that feels pleasantly warm to you in the morning can turn into something close to a greenhouse by early afternoon, especially since the hottest part of the day is often later than people expect, closer to mid-afternoon than noon. And unlike you, your parrot can't just get up and walk to a cooler room. If their cage is the hot spot, that's where they're stuck. The fix isn't to take away their window view completely. Just make sure the cage isn't in direct, unfiltered sun for hours at a time, and that there's always a shaded section of the cage your bird can move to on their own. And later in this video, I'll show you one extremely common summer habit that can affect your parrot's breathing within minutes. And there's a good chance you've already done it this week without thinking twice. 2. You're pointing a fan or AC vent directly at the cage. Have you angled a fan toward your parrot's cage on a hot day, thinking you're helping them cool down faster? It seems like the obvious move, but a direct, constant airflow does something you might not expect. It chills your bird's body unevenly while the room itself stays warm, which can be just as stressful on their system as the heat was in the first place. Birds are especially sensitive to drafts hitting them directly, even when the air is technically cool. Over time, this kind of on and off stress on their body can leave them more tired, less interested in eating, or just a little more withdrawn than usual. The fix is about airflow, not direct wind. Use fans or AC to cool the room generally, but keep the direct stream away from the cage itself, so your parrot benefits from the cooler air without being blasted by it. And real quick, if this is making you rethink your bird's summer setup, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more parrot owners who are probably making the exact same mistakes without realizing it. 3. You're not refreshing their water often enough. Do you usually top up your parrot's water bowl once a day and figure that's plenty, since it still looks mostly full? In cooler months, that might be fine. In summer, it's a different story. Heat increases how much water your parrot's body needs just to function normally. But birds don't always show obvious thirst the way we do. A bowl that looks fine on the surface can be warm, slightly stagnant, or less appealing than it was that morning. And a bird that drinks less without you noticing is already a step behind before anything looks wrong. Dehydration quietly affects their ability to regulate their own body temperature, which means a mildly dehydrated bird struggles more with heat than a well-hydrated one, even at the exact same room temperature. The fix is simple. Change the water at least twice a day in hot weather, and consider adding a second bowl in a different spot. Offering water-rich foods like cucumber or melon during the hottest part of the day gives them another way to stay hydrated without relying on the bowl alone. 4. You're feeding the exact same diet you do all year. Do you scoop out the same mix of seeds and pellets in July that you would in January, just because that's the routine? It's an easy thing to overlook. But digesting food, especially fat-heavy food like seeds and nuts, actually generates heat inside your parrot's body. In winter, that's useful. In summer, it's working against them, adding an internal heat load on top of an already warm environment. This doesn't mean cutting their food. It means shifting the balance slightly. Lean more on fresh vegetables and water-rich fruits during the hottest months, and treat seeds and nuts as smaller additions rather than a daily staple. Think of it as giving your parrot's body one less thing to manage when it's already working hard just to stay cool. 5. You're cooking on the grill or stovetop with your parrot nearby. Here's the one I mentioned earlier. Summer often means more grilling, more stovetop cooking, more time with windows open and the kitchen busy. It feels completely normal because it is normal for us. But many grills and nonstick pans are coated with materials that, once they get hot enough, release fumes that are essentially invisible and odorless to humans. For most pets, that's not an issue. For a parrot, it can be extremely serious. because of how efficiently their respiratory system moves air through their entire body with every breath. In an enclosed kitchen or a room nearby, those fumes can affect a bird within minutes, sometimes before you'd notice anything was wrong. The warning signs, if you catch them at all, might be sudden heavy breathing, sitting low and still, or a bird that seems unsteady on the perch. The fix is straightforward. Keep your parrot in a separate, well-ventilated room whenever you're grilling or using non-stick cookware on high heat, and make sure that room has airflow that doesn't pull smoke or fumes toward them. 6. You're calling it summer sleepiness when it's actually heat stress. Have you noticed your parrot seeming quieter, sitting low on the perch, or just looking a bit puffed up on hot days, and assumed they're simply relaxed, the same way you might feel lying around on a lazy summer afternoon? Here's what most owners miss. Birds don't sweat, and they can't tell you directly when they're struggling. The signs of heat stress and the signs of a relaxed, sleepy bird can look almost identical at first glance, which is exactly why so many owners miss it until it's further along. A parrot that's actually overheating may pant with an open beak, hold its wings slightly away from its body, or seem unusually still and unresponsive compared to their normal energy. Watch for these red flags. Open mouth breathing even when they're not making noise. Wings held away from the body for long periods. Fluffed feathers despite a warm room. And a bird that seems unusually quiet or slow to respond compared to their normal self. If your parrot is showing any of these signs, don't wait to see if it passes on its own. Move them to a cooler room immediately, offer fresh water, and mist them gently with lukewarm water, not cold, because a sudden temperature shock can actually make things worse. Give them a few minutes to settle, and if the heavy breathing or stillness continues, that's a call to your avian vet, not something to monitor overnight. Here's the bigger picture. Parrots are wired to hide when something is wrong. It kept their wild ancestors alive. But in your home, that same instinct means they will suffer quietly through heat stress, dehydration, and discomfort without giving you a single obvious sign until it's already serious. The mistakes in this video aren't rare or unusual. They're the things most loving, well-meaning owners do every single summer without realizing what's happening on the other side of that cage. Now you know what to look for, and that changes everything. If this video helped you see your bird's summer differently, share it with someone who has a parrot at home. They might need this more than you think.